Congratulations, Ricky and
Thank you
Cesar.
so much.
Thank
But you
you.
know what? Let me congratulate George because he's the oracle. He predicted it. He got it. He got it done. He
The
got it
Oracle
right.
got it right.
I don't know how he does it, and I'm gonna figure it out eventually, but I wish I'd put down money.
You should have put down money. We were listening and you said, he said, and I was like,
Yep. We're like,
oh
okay,
my
okay.
gosh. Like I literally have the chills right now. I was like, how did he do it?
I I literally showed him the picture and I said, "Who's gonna win?" He pointed to you guys. And he said, "I like their shirts. They're gonna win." And maybe it's the magic
Hey,
of the shirts. I don't know.
and that was my pick. I was like,
Yeah,
Ricky,
he
we
was like,
need
we
something.
need something
We need
fun.
something like to be ourselves. And like we have seen some other teams previously, like Team Fun, wore like some button-up shirts.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, like in just like previous seasons,
Yeah.
but like we were just like, let's be us,
Yeah, let's
let's
be
be
honest. Like,
fun, and
give it a
like
flair.
yeah,
And
it's an extra item to pack and carry, but
they were light. They were
and
light.
we use them again in Barbados.
They were breathable.
Yeah.
So I need to find out. The two of you are the most dominant team in Amazing Race history, which is absolutely incredible. You consider how many teams there are, and somebody did the math. This is like counting everybody in all the international iterations as well. So, what do you attribute this to? How did you do this?
I have no clue.
We have no idea.
It's like,
Really.
let me tell you, like as a super fan, I've been seeing so many cast assessments, and of course, Phil said it himself on an interview previous to this season. He was like, we all have like we perceptions of
Yeah.
people. So like even looking at ourselves, I would have been like, okay, they're
Like,
solid middle of the pack, maybe.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't really, I think things just kind of lined up, and every season is different and every team is different, and there's just different formats that happen, and this season just really played to a lot of our strengths. We have a lot of strengths. So I do think on any season we would have done really well in any format,
I
in any
didn't
challenge.
get to show my French as well.
Yeah,
So
I mean, everybody's like, oh, Spanish. I was like, no, he also knows French.
when Ricky, when we were preparing for the race, Ricky was doing flashcards for other,
Like
like
other
we saw
languages,
that
like,
from Luis and Michelle, and like previous racers as
yes.
well have done it. So we were just preparing for
Yeah.
the race. So I think that was great. The preparation beforehand, we did a lot of it, and like I think we might make a video and share it like on how we prepared. But on top of that was the communication.
Yeah.
And just setting boundaries even before the race, just like being like, it's gonna be stressful, like
Yeah.
this might happen.
Yeah, I think but there's two factors. There's like a factor of like, you need to be competitive. You have to have that drive, but you also have to have a bit of fun. Because
A lot of fun. Why not? And
when you go too far into the competition, you get in your head, you get too stressed, and like that's when like the stress breaks you. And I
I
think we had such a good balance, and it really helped.
I love as well that you as a viewer could see on the show. Like we were taking like those little 10 seconds. You saw it on the community 13. We were going up the stairs and we were like, oh my God, this is so cool. This
Yeah.
is beautiful. Because he's
That was mostly you stopping me.
but even because even in
Because I
Barbados,
was ready to go. I was a little worried, like through the waiting process. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna be so boring because I was laser focused most of the time. And he was the one having like fun. And I was like, come on, let's go. Like there was one thing you were like, slow down, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, get in the car. Like, we gotta go.
it even happens in Barbados as well. Like right after a little argument, like we knew where we were heading, and I'm like, oh, look over there. Like now we know where we're going. Now we can enjoy it. And because those times of the cars were like to draw like whatever we were seeing, to write down our clues, to like prepare ourselves.
Oh yeah, they didn't show that when you were walking down the Watape steps. He was actually drawing and taking notes as we were coming
Of our
down
little
the
like
steps.
Socolo picture. So I was making a little picture.
So
But
like,
yeah.
there was just a lot of things that I feel like helped this
Yeah.
season. And maybe we would be able to apply it in another season.
Yeah, let's go for all winner season.
Well, I think it definitely. I really wanted to know more about how you prepared because it seemed like, we're kind of going through this like Slumdog Millionaire thing where every single task, one of you had done it in some fashion at some point. But I want to know, is there anything that you learned how to do specifically for the race?
Okay, so we saw that it just happened that I ended up seeing a TikTok of Jesse Tannenbaum, like the casting producers, and I was like, Ricky, we have to apply. Like, COVID happened, all of those changes happened, and I'm like, this is a travel show. I don't want to live with regrets. Let's just apply. Let's do it. Okay,
we applied, and then it was like training mode. We just like went for it.
I had a work trip, so like we did our video. I finished editing. I went traveling, and I was in San Diego. And like I was like, Ricky, we submitted our video. We need to start traveling. That same day, I went to the gym at the hotel. My boss was like, "What are you doing? Like, you have never done something like that." And I'm like, "I'm just decided to start training today." And
but, like, I don't know that we did anything. Did we do anything super specific?
We did a lot of things. Let me tell you,
we did a lot of like puzzles and geography,
even, like choreography. Like, I'm not that coordinated.
We did a lot of choreography. Like, so we like would put on a video and try to like
learn it. And we realized over there, for example, that the way that Ricky teaches is not the way that works for me learning.
Yeah.
So I was like, can you slow down? Can you tell it this way? Can you like I don't work with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
For me, it was like left, right, left foot, right foot.
So that was something we had to figure out. Like, if we were doing a choreography challenge, like how could I help him figure it out a little bit faster? You kind of saw that with like Derek and Shalisa, like, you know, Shalisa was helping Derek. Like, if we were in that situation, I would have had to help him break it down.
So knowing exactly how to help me, like it would have taken some minutes down instead of trying to figure it out over there. The other thing, like I did a lot of training on the stairs, and
a lot of stairs.
I have mentioned it. I have mentioned it before that while I was training, I was listening to podcasts and just preparing. So that was part of the preparation, right? And at some point I realized, like, I am doing the stairs with music. We won't have music or podcast over there. So like, I need to take this off. And then I realized that it was becoming really exhausting. So I got a clicker, and like my focus was totally on the clicker. So the exhaustion like wasn't happening that much because I was distracted. So when we did the steps at Watape, I have been training with the steps. Ricky hadn't. So I was like, here you go, Ricky, you get a clicker, focus on the clicker, get all the steps. And it worked. Like, we were the first ones to have the steps. Like, little things like that.
Yeah.
Ricky says nothing is specific. I feel like every single team was so specific and learning from that. And we got the chance to apply it. Like, whether it was an experience like welding from 20 years ago.
Or Little League baseball.
Exactly.
When I was like 8, you know, like, yeah, we did it. We did a lot of preparation. I shouldn't downplay it. We did a lot.
Even in the house, like you hide like little puzzles. We were doing like
puzzles everywhere and maps, and you know, we did a lot.
Well, it sounds like it doesn't even matter what you were learning how to do. It was more about the process and how you were learning to do it and how you're learning how to learn together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just adapting, doing it. Like
and the communication. We had a lot of conversation about communication. Okay, what do you need in this moment? How are you going to talk to me in this moment? Cheer me on here, don't cheer me on there. You know, all of those things kind of came into play and really helped our communication during the race.
Was there anything you learned about each other while you were on the race?
We really expected to be yelling at each other, I think, previous this season. And that's why we have so many conversations of like...
Well, not expected to yell at each other. Well, I expected there to be more tension.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let me rephrase there because that's...
I thought we were going to be like... arguing, and I was nervous that like the cracks were going to show. Not that we have cracks to show, but, you know, in a stressful situation, like, you don't know how you're going to react. You don't put your... You don't put your relationship in those type of situations
every single day. So it could go.
Who knows? You know, so I was really worried going into it. I was like, oh gosh, like, am I going to yell? I can get sassy. I am, you know, opinionated. I am strong-willed. So like, and I'm not afraid to speak my mind. So, and he knows that.
But also he's extremely patient, and like, it's just a balance. Like, it's just, I was there to live the experience every single episode.
And he brought me down and like brought the joy to it.
Like, you know what? And you saw it like even on challenges where we were with much more teams, like the fish pot building, the skateboard building, like those kind of challenges. More teams were there, but we were still like, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to get out of here. Like, and hopefully we won't be last. And like, it's funny that
it was always a moment of like, we know we're going to accomplish it. Hopefully we'll get out first. If not, you know, we'll at least get out of here.
Yeah, I never saw a moment of genuine fear in either one of you. Like there was never.
Let me tell you there. Because I
Oh
think there was,
no,
there was some
windsurfing.
No windsurfing. Just
windsurfing, maybe, but it still felt like I didn't feel any tension from you. It was like you're gonna get it eventually.
Yeah.
So for me, being on the side, I was just like, he's gonna get it eventually, and that was that. But I keep seeing him fall, and like he keeps like his windsurf keeps sliding.
Yeah.
He had to get out of the water, walk back, going in like 2 times.
Yeah. So
like,
the current was very strong. So when I went out, the current took me down, and they had like a safety zone. And so the current took me out of the safety zone. They made me get out of the water. I had to carry the board down the beach, swim back out, continue trying, and then the current took me back down, and then I had to swim back. So like I wasn't just up and down off the board 21 times. I was swimming, trying to battle the current.
It looked exhausting.
It wasn't just me up and down on the board. It was me battling a current and the waves, getting in and out. Like, I don't know if you go in and out of the ocean, it takes a lot of effort to get in and out. So it was a hefty physical challenge for me, but also like there was a mental thing happening. Was like Leticia rocked it. Juan showed up and he killed it. And then I'm like, okay, I said to my instructor, he was an angel, and I looked him dead in the eyes. I was like, I have to get out of here. Like, I don't know, channel some kind of coach energy. Not that he could really help me in any other way. I just had to figure it out. But I looked at him, I was like, I have to get out of here. And he was like, okay. like he was gonna like magically make me get it. And then within like the next 2 tries, I got it. And it was like
so proud of him. So proud of him, because it was definitely the most challenging.
Yeah.
But I was just so proud.
But I knew that I just had to like keep going and like just not give up. I just kept getting back on and keeping back on, and just that perseverance is what I think is what for me defines a true competitor. Not to like I feel like we are good competitors, but in general, a good competitor is someone who can persevere through the good, the bad, the ugly. Like you just keep going no matter what, and don't let your struggle hold you back.
I love that. That is so like it's so empowering. It's so great. I think so many people are going to resonate with that. So what is next for the two of you?
What is next? So now we're seeing it as a reality. I think now like it's happening. It's the money's coming, and with that we will be able to like have the foundation to build that family that we want. Like now we know that we're perfect for each other. Like it sounds cliche, but like we prove ourselves that even on the hardest stress situations, like we are there for each other, and like we support each other. So now it's building that foundation. Like we had mentioned it before, like we both grew up with a backyard. So like, we're like, maybe New York, like it's in New York. It's it gonna be somewhere else. And like, we want to give this kid like a good house.
You know, and like, I feel very strongly about adoption, and I would really love to do that. I also would love the opportunity to foster. I think it's a really beautiful thing to help children in that way. So if we have the opportunity to do that as well, I would love to do that. So having this can, you know, maybe give us the opportunity to do that, to adopt, maybe, you know, get a house, you know, like all of these little things that now we're a dream, like, oh, I hope that we can do this one day. Like now could be like, oh, this is a set goal that we could do this in this amount of time, rather than just like, oh, this would be nice one day type of thing.
Oh, it's beautiful. You guys are going to be such awesome dads. It's going to be great.
Thank you so much.
Who's going to do a strict one, you or me?
We'll see.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. We're going to talk more soon, I'm sure, but definitely don't be strangers, guys.
Of course
Thank
not.
you.
We're neighbors, so we'll hang out.
Yeah, we definitely will. Yes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Juan and Shane, it was so great to see you last night.
It was so fun.
Oh, so fun.
Yeah. Incredible to meet you.
Yes,
it
you
was
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah, I was I was super excited because I had so much fun watching you guys all season. But I think the very first thing that I have to know about the Amazing Race finale is, what is Gritty like in real life?
Oh, that was the coolest experience of the race. I'm
It
not even
really
kidding.
was.
That was the coolest experience of the race in my opinion. Like Gritty, it was so like because like I know Gritty. I come from a hockey family. So growing up, like he's obviously the neighborhood villain like in the NHL, and like it was so cool. I saw him, and I can't believe that he was the last one standing. I'm like, Gritty, let's
I
go.
know.
How do
It
you
was
not
so
pick
cool.
Gritty? I don't understand.
Oh, I can't. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that was amazing. But I think we have to talk a little bit about, you alluded to this last night at the party, and I know the listeners are going to want to know about this. How is it that somebody who works security at a football stadium does not know how to get to Pat and Gino's?
Okay, so yeah, and what they don't show, they don't really pay tribute to the fact that we were hanging out there for about 5 minutes, and we really wanted to double check. And I think at some point, I don't know why I got the word pizza in my head. I think at some point I read Pat's Pizzeria somewhere. But so anyway, I showed him Pat's, and I was like, hey, like two rivaling places, Pat's and Gino's. I'm showing you Pat's. Is this Pat's? 25 minutes outside of the city. Are you sure this is it? He's like, that's it, dude. You got to send it. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Bro, you said pizza because you thought pizza because he said pizza. He goes, oh, those are two pizza places. Those are competing pizza places. And we're
That's
like,
what it
okay.
was.
And then we started talking with him, and he's like, oh, maybe it's cheesesteak. And we're like, okay, well, dude, like, what is it? Like, because like, we're not from here. We don't know. And so you start scrolling, and you just clicked on Pat's Pizza or whatever. And we showed him the phone. We said, are you sure this is it? He goes, yep, that's it. We're like, this is 25 minutes northwest of the city. Are you sure? And he goes, yep. And I'll never forget this. I looked at Juan and I go, Juan, man, I'm feeling good about it. Are you? He goes, yep. I go, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So that took you 25 minutes out of the city and then 25 minutes back into the city.
Correct.
So you lost about an hour in there?
We lost the race when he said Pat's Pizza.
Yeah.
What's funny is that we were so good about running our own race, and just to have somebody lose it for us on the finale.
Yep, exactly.
That's so rough. But you made up so much time. Like, how did you manage to make up that much time on the back half?
Okay,
all right,
so
Juan.
So and we were talking about this earlier actually, and basically on the way back we decided, hey, listen, brother, like this was a big mistake. You know, we might not come back from it, but this is our final stride. We're together, like, you know, like this is an incredible experience. Let's bring her home, you know, sprint to the finish kind of moment. And so I think we were really able to get out of our own heads and just actually have fun with it and do what Shane and Juan do. And I think it just because we kind of accepted that, like, hey, we're gonna make this the funnest thing, and we're gonna leave it all out on the field. Things just kind of clicked, and we kind of got through it.
We Juan and I we do something very well, and that's compartmentalizing. So we deal with stress via humor, and we crack jokes. That's how we deal with our stress. But our thing is, we're never going to let ourselves get too high, and we're never going to let ourselves get too low. Because if you find yourself at either one of those extremes, your performance severely degrades. And that's with anything, in any stressful situation. So how do we do it when we get too low? We start cracking jokes and we bring us back up. How do we do it when we get too high? Well, we have a funny way of humbling each other. So and that's honest to God the truth. And we throughout the entire race, I think we did a good job, or the race did a good job of depicting that, showing that we kept our emotions pretty even keeled.
Yeah, but for all of that, I think your personalities never kind of took a back seat to that, because I think it would be pretty easy, like if you're self-regulating like that all the time, I think it'd be pretty easy for you guys to be a boring team, but you were not. You were so much fun. And I think some of that is down to the relationship that the two of you have. It's a very genuine friendship. And I would love to know if there is anything that you learned about each other that you didn't know before you went on the race.
Monto, you can take this one.
Obviously, Shane and I coming back being best friends already from pilot training. I would say the race put us in a different environment and allowed us to see how we both have grown in the time that we've been apart. Because, like I said, I've always said, Shane and I'll be best friends till the day we die. But obviously, that distance built some space apart, and so it gave us that opportunity to be able to recage and to kind of experience the men that we had become in our families and our marriages. And I think that was kind of an incredible experience to be able to learn from each other in that sense and really kind of share what's become important to us, kind of like how life has molded us into the men that we are compared to the boys that we were at the beginning of pilot training.
Yeah, that's accurate. I think it taught us how to be better husbands too, because we kind of saw that each other could be, a little bit of bungholes at times. So we're like, man, maybe we shouldn't be like this with our wives sometimes. Shout out wives, love you girls.
Big shout out.
But yeah, no, Juan and I, we left pilot training knowing that we were going to have a very a special bond for the rest of our lives. And all the race really did was just reaffirm that. And it was an incredible experience.
Was there ever a point, like when you met in pilots training, what was the point where you guys realized you were going to be best friends forever?
Well, when we looked at Juan one day at about 5:00 on a Friday and the sun was shining, he looked at me and we both cracked a ice cold 12-ounce of water, and it made a very, very amazing sound. The only those fortunate enough to have experienced it in the past know what I'm talking about. And the locked eyes, and it was all over.
Yeah, I think we both.
No. Go ahead, buddy.
I was going to say, I think we both just looked at each other at that point, and with that, when synchronized cracking of the waters per se, and at that point, it was full on stepbrothers mode. Did we just become best friends?
This is one of the all-time greatest bromances in Amazing Race history, for sure. Like sometimes you get this team type that comes on the race, and it's like two younger guys that are best friends, and it's like, have these guys ever met? But the two of you, like, it was very genuine, and that connection really made it fun to watch. When did you decide you wanted to be on The Amazing Race is the question I would have.
We were extremely fortunate. They CBS reached out to us and asked us and provided us with the opportunity. I'm not, and I know Juan certainly isn't either. We're not very big people into saying no to any opportunity. They essentially I run a social media platform helping kids become fighter pilots, and I was doing a live video. They were in the inbox saying, "Hey, what do you think?" And my running joke is that they were like, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think your friend Juan will want to be on The Amazing Race?"
Yeah, no, I mean Shane's plane is it's super cool. It's obviously one of the more preferred planes in the Air Force. So Shane obviously was able to offer that to kids, kind of that knowledge base, and it really took off, and he really picked up traction. And so that's when I think we were fortunate enough. Well, he was fortunate enough to get that call, and I was fortunate enough to be the first person he called after he talked to them. And so he's like, "Hey man, what do you think?" I was like, "Dude, it's just another day. Just another day. Let's go do the thing." And I don't think we were ever out of character in the race. I think that's just exactly who we are. We're just competitive guys that frankly love each other, and want to just have a great time doing whatever we can do while we try to do it the best we can.
Yeah, for sure. And Shane, your mom said you guys are actually much funnier than you were on the show.
Yeah, Juan and I, we enjoy it. We enjoy laughs, and we enjoy every corner of where those laughs will take us. And it's we again kind of not letting ourselves get too high and not letting ourselves get too low, right? There's a time and place for it. And in our opinion, chasing $1 million to change our families' lives while we were racing, right? And you saw a little bit of it, but like, we weren't there to joke around. We were there to change our families' lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you also kind of couldn't help it. Like, it was always there.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Definitely. I think the dynamic of our friendship is going to shine no matter what in every kind of scenario. And so, yeah, we were locked in for $1 million for sure. But I think regardless of the fact, I mean, we couldn't help but have a great time. I guess it was just in the nature of our friendship.
Also the nature of the race.
Yeah, right. Great point.
Oh yeah, put you in a butterfly suit, like you're gonna spread your wings and fly. Like it doesn't matter if there's cameras around,
Yeah, definitely. So was there anything that we didn't see that you wished we had been able to see?
Same you go, buddy. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this.
Okay. You know what? I don't know. Dude, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think there was anything that they didn't see? I mean, other than you and I cracking jokes in the hotel room, you know?
I would say that Shane and I think Shane and I like just don't know how to be disingenuous. I think we're open books. And so I think they did a really good job of capturing exactly who we are. I don't think they really deferred a lot from our personalities or our values or our morals or our motivation or our priorities. So I thank you to the Amazing Race for that. It was an incredible edit. We came out smelling like flowers.
Man, I need to say thank you too, because you know throughout the years and the seasons, there are some teams that aren't so fortunate in that aspect, and golly, like I don't know what we did to deserve the edit that we got, because there were certainly opportunities that could have been aired or whatnot that weren't. As far as Juan and I, like you guys are chasing $1 million. Like we can sit here and say we're the most stressless people you'll ever meet, but like there were stressful situations, so we got on each other. And thank you, Amazing Race, for really showing Juan and I's true selves, and because like I said, some people weren't so lucky, and we're just extremely grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I can personally say, like, I've talked to probably 100 Amazing Race teams lifetime, and I can't think of a single one that I thought was unpleasant at all. Like, everybody that gets cast on the show is so nice and so awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to get to chat with all of them and find out more about their experiences and get the behind the scenes view. Before we close out, Shane, can you tell us a little bit more about your nonprofit project? Because I think that's really cool sounding.
Oh, sure. Okay. So it's not so much a nonprofit project. It's I have a TikTok platform, SB Coco. Yes. And essentially what I did growing up, I like to say I had it pretty easy. My dad was a fighter pilot. He raised me to be able to do whatever I wanted. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. He knew exactly how to do it, and so I did it. I understand that a lot of kids aren't so lucky, and so I just wanted to help give people an avenue as far as how to make it happen. And I've been extremely fortunate over the last few years to be able to help direct messages, text, phone calls, interview prep. I've helped over 1,000 kids, and it's been super, super cool.
And you could turn that into a nonprofit, though. That's amazing.
Probably. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Like a good deal.
Yeah, it does. Well, thank you both so much for talking to me. It was really fun to meet you and really fun to watch you this season. And I wish you all the best in the future.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, Jess, incredible to meet you. Thanks for making it out.
Thanks. Vinny and Amber, I think the first thing I got to say is congratulations.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you so much.
Super excited to finally be able to share it with the rest of the world.
Gosh, I know it's such a long journey. Like I had to hold the biggest secret of my life for so long.
Well, we knew you were engaged, but I think it wasn't until last night that everybody got to find out exactly how you got engaged.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I got to hear a little bit about how that was planned. Like, Vinny, did you just tote that ring around the Americas for an entire month?
Well, first of all, it was a fake ring because I was scared to lose the actual ring. So thank God I did that, because Rod and Leticia flipped over and that would have been a nightmare. But for me, so our journey was a long, long time ago. We were supposed to be casted for season 30.
We applied for 34. Yep.
And then we actually got all the way through, and then radio silence. They got re-invited for 35. They flipped 35 to 36. And so once back, who knows when, in October of 21 or something, I start talking to my mom and I say, hey, and we're about two years, maybe a year and a half in our relationship. And we're just like, I'm telling my mom, I'm like, I think this is it. I think this is the one. And I had many failed relationships, so I know that feeling of that confirmation. And so my mom walks upstairs, comes right back down, and she brings down my grandma's diamond ring that's passed down from generation to generation. And so she said, I want you to repurpose this diamond and then give this to Amber whenever you're ready. So to answer your question, just the preparation of this journey was very, very hard. She had no idea. And it started maybe in quarter two of 2022. So there was a long journey.
Working for 34.
Yeah.
34.
Because I had to customize the diamond ring, had to get it sent over, there was all kinds of AutoCADing to it. There was such a process that I had to hide.
But you always knew you wanted to do it in conjunction with The Amazing Race if you made it on, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got off work one day, and I think she was giving me these nudges this whole time. And she just puts the camera up in front of my face, and she's looking at the camera, and she goes, we're getting off work, and she goes, hey, babe, if we get on The Amazing Race, are you going to propose to me? And I was so caught off. I was like, yes, yes. And then I was like, oh, damn, what did I just agree to?
So did you ruin the surprise? Amber, were you surprised?
I was surprised because we were watching, I forgot what season we were watching. Maybe it was Will and James where they did their proposal. I kind of nudged him and I was like, so are you going to do it if we get on the show? And he was like, no, we have so much going on. There's just too much preparation. Sorry, babe. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's just not realistic. And so in my head, I was like, okay, it's not going to happen on the race, And then little did I know.
Oh, yeah. Big surprise. No, I mean, we shared the same backpack, Jess. It was very hard to hide this thing.
Well, I was going to say, there's been much made of the fact that you brought one backpack because this is conventional racer wisdom passed down from racer to racer.
Yeah.
So that said to me that you are super fans.
Yeah. We studied that race left and right, up and down. We turned every stone. Watched all of you guys talking about how you would do it, what other people thought. And yes, we were definitely doing the deep dive.
Definitely one backpack. No other way.
No.
So.
Yeah, if there's one takeaway, I think, from the whole season, it's that one backpack is key. I would love to know, what was the biggest thing that you learned about each other while you were on the race?
There's so much.
I feel like I already knew a lot. I know Vincent's personality. I know that he can be very strong. I can be very strong. We both can butt heads. I think I learned more about myself than I did you during the race.
Yeah, same. It was you really don't get to it's like when you hear yourself on the phone for the first time and you're like, oh gosh, is that how I sound? And so growing up, the way I communicate is just how we communicate in our immigrant household, and so the intonations and things are misunderstood in so many ways. And so when we bring our two realities together, I start to realize that it's not the same reality that I'm seeing. Yes. And so she's hearing something different. And when she says something with her tone, she might not mean anything by it, but I'm feeling and being triggered by it and then responding in a certain way. And I think that is the biggest thing that I learned is that, one, I don't really listen that well. That's one thing. And then two, I don't really understand how I'm being, how I can communicate all I want, but if the partner is not able to interpret what I'm saying, communication is broken. And so I think that was the biggest learning lesson for me.
And for me, I feel like I'm such a control freak. So just letting Vincent take control in certain situations that I know he's good at, because he's very capable and I should trust him more. I mean, we struggled with this with finances early on in our relationship because I wanted to be the one to kind of manage our finances. But then there were certain things that I had to let him take control in. And he's proven that he can do it. And so I just need to let go more and let him take control.
Yeah, it's identifying your strengths and weaknesses. And we thought we did know them. And then when you get on the race, you really test those limits of how well do you know them. And so that was really the growth for us, is wow, so much introspection and such a higher level of self-awareness.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a pressure cooker for sure. And even with the two of you, you are used to a pressure cooker, I would imagine.
This is a different pressure cooker. It's different.
Yeah. Saving people's lives comes second nature to us.
Yeah.
Right. And so that
only because experience, right?
Only through experience. And that's really what it is. It's growth only comes through exposure and on the other side of comfort. Yeah. And so for us to put ourselves in those pressure cooker situations, it really exposed us. And honestly, it was hard to see, but at the same time, I'm extremely thankful for all the different things that we got to unveil and also solidify the strengths that we did have.
Yeah, for sure.
You were definitely there. I felt like there was a moment very early on where you sort of figured out what you were doing and you jumped from the back of the pack to the front of the pack. And I would love to hear more about how that all came together for you, or was it something you even noticed?
So I think for me, when we first started, I don't even remember that first leg. Like I think I just blacked out. I was just excited to be there. My head wasn't really in the game.
Yeah.
I felt competitive, but I was also like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? You're kind of still just like, just
starstruck.
Yeah.
It was just not a dreamland. Still.
Dreamland, yes, dreamlike state. And so I felt like once we got second to last, yeah, we got eliminated. I was just like, oh wow, like these people are good. Like at first I thought we were just gonna have to like, oh yeah, we're just gonna truck along that first leg and we'll be fine. And then I realized like, nope.
Yeah, for once we got to that mat, we went and had a little audio tech break or whatever, and I talked to her and I looked at her and I said, what do we need to do different? Because we're ready. We're not going home on the first episode of The Amazing Race. Not happening to us. Not the dream team. Can't let that happen. And so what we said to each other was, one, let's get out of this situation. What we said is everything goes on the mat right now. Put everything you've got now. Let's get out of the back of the pack because we know we're capable. We know we can do what we need to do. So we just zoomed our way up and we're just like, all right, cool. So now what are we going to do? And so then we started to dial in things. And the major thing that we did, Jess, was because we're both capable, we were both bickering between what choices we were going to make. So then what we said is, I'm better at supporting the team. She's better at making the decisions in a decisive way for the team. So then that's when things started to click for us. And from that, I think was our springboard to really adjust our strategies as we went through the race.
I think we really turned on and that competitiveness came out that second half of that Mexico leg.
When we were driving, Jess, and I was like, I said something. There was a frame where I said, oh, if we miss this turn, I'm sure most of the people are going to miss this turn. And then when I saw that we were in last place, I was like, oh, no, I might be way off. Like all these guys are probably pretty good at this game.
I think we underestimated a lot of the team.
Yes. And so it was a very humbling experience, but then it was a really affirming experience to know that, hey, let's downshift our gear, zoom past these teams and secure our placement because this journey is not going to end in these early rounds.
Yeah, first leg was just a warm up.
Well, it is lucky that you had the chance to get your feet under you in that first leg for sure. Now, I know that there's been a lot of talk about how you were edited and how you were portrayed on the race. And I would just love to know, is there anything that you experienced on the race that you wish we had seen?
I think that there was a lot of moments where Vincent was supportive that they didn't show. Yes, we did bicker, but I felt like other teams bickered, and I feel like they only put in like slices of us bickering.
Oh, absolutely. Every single one of these teams are looking the same way, struggling in the same way, in their own ways, right? And so they definitely it took us back. We were just like, whoa, we were not ready for that.
The whole leg. Like, where's the positive stuff? Remember that one scene with the taxi driver? We had just gotten our little argument, and then we kind of worked through those issues, and then we started like bonding with the taxi driver, and he was being super supportive of us and giving us relationship advice and like just stuff like that they don't show. And I'm just like, I know that we fought, I know we had disagreements, but there was so many other beautiful moments, like Vincent telling me to help Angie in the roadblock. Do not leave Angie. Like he's the one that basically.
She looked to me and I was like,
what do we do?
I was like, we can't leave our lines. We are loyal. I don't care if we're on a race. This is how we operate in life. This is how we're going to operate on the race. For me personally, to answer your question, I wish that Amber was depicted more appropriately. They really showed her to be kind of a weaker, incapable woman that's just not able to keep up with me as I do things really fast. And I'm this kind of jerk as she's like struggling. And the reality of that is Amber's actually the firecracker of our relationship. And she is so strong, makes so many important decisions in our life that them showing her as this weak individual was, to me, such a disservice to her as character, but also really disservice to women at large, because I feel that women are probably the strongest beings on this earth. And I don't feel that Amber and her strengths were really highlighted the way that they should be.
Yeah, it is something I think we struggle with watching all the reality TV we do. I think there's a very specific language that they use, and they just kind of fit you in that language, even if that's not the language you're speaking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's okay. I think for us having done the Amazing Race and going through this journey, there's a reason why they do psych testing. It's not for during the race, it's for after the race. It's for preparing you for these people that are going to throw out their opinions and put you in this category and, I don't know, call you names and bully you. And so I think you really have to know yourself, and you have to know your relationship, and you have to be very secure with that, or else it'll break you down. And I feel like people don't talk about online bullying enough, because we've definitely dealt with it. I mean, we've had to make our Instagrams private because we were getting so much hate.
Oh yeah, there was people messaging my personal businesses that I have, trying to talk to the person in charge of staffing, and I'm like, ma'am, I'm the one. I own this company and all the staff on this company. So if you need to talk, feel free to give me a holler, And it was just like, gosh, I had really a lot of empathy for anybody who's projecting that amount of hate towards an individual that they see on TV. I just have so much love and compassion for someone who has that much in them to project out to somebody else.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for somebody that might go on one of these shows someday for this specific type of thing?
I do. I have some advice. Do therapy. We did therapy, and I think that all people can benefit from therapy. It's not just therapy. People that are having relationship issues. I think every individual on this planet could benefit from therapy, because you just don't really know how you'll respond until you're put in that situation. And then the haters will speak louder than the supporters. Like, we have so many supporters, but you're not seeing all of that on social media, because the people with the empty minds say the most. So that's my advice.
Yeah, I can't agree with that more. Yeah, for someone who would ever get on the race and something like this, just know yourself very, very well, because everyone has an opinion and they're entitled to it. But you don't always have to listen to an opinion that you don't really care for, right? Yeah, I only ask advice or opinions for people who have walked my path. Where I want to go, I'm going to listen to those types of folks. And so someone who has an opinion, just be very founded in yourself and really just stay true to yourself throughout the experience.
I think that's really, really lovely. And it seems like the two of you have come through this and been much stronger, come out the other side much stronger. And I admire that. And I love seeing how great the two of you are with each other. And I've been really happy to follow your journey. Wish you guys all the best.
Thank you so much. Jess. I'm just so happy to be able to talk. We watched you all the time, so it's just so cool.
It's so funny. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't say hi last night. You guys were pretty mobbed with everybody congratulating you, so I didn't have a chance. But
well, now you did. So thank you.
We'll see each other again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes. Well, don't be strangers.
We're feeling the Colin and Christy 2.0 vibes for sure.
Oh yeah, all-star season.
Love that for you. I love it. But take care, both of you. Wish you all the best.
Thanks,
Jess.